Hello everyone. Oh, my eyes are quite dry from the aircon there. I am just in the car park waiting to go into my hair salon appointment. Did a little bit of gradual tanning lotion yesterday, so looking slightly less translucent than usual, which is nice. So this is kind of the before. I've got a little bit of regrowth. I don't really know exactly what we are doing today. I think we'll just do a little bit of a touch-up really, probably get a few highlights. My hair did turn slightly green at the end from swimming over summer, so still a little bit of a green tint in there, which I'm excited to hopefully get toned out today and fixed up a little bit. So yeah, very excited to have some fresh hair. I'm actually going out to dinner tonight as well to celebrate my partner Tom and I's 4-year anniversary, which was yesterday, but we are going out to dinner tonight, which I'll vlog snippets of dinner hopefully, but it'll be so nice to have my hair properly styled for once. I never really style it myself, just because I work from home. It's usually always just thrown up into a bun, so the timing of this appointment today has worked out very nicely. So yeah, I've made a little matcha to go in my Yeti cup here to keep me nice and energized. I'm going to try and do a bit of work in the salon. Brought my laptop with me, and yeah, so hopefully be a productive salon session. Hello everyone, I just got done at the hair salon. It was actually a pretty quick appointment today because we just did a little bit of a toner refresh. It was really not looking too bad. I only had a little bit of regrowth at the top, so yeah, we just did a little refresh, got it all nicely styled for dinner tonight, which is really exciting. And yeah, now I'll be heading back home. Good morning everyone. I thought I would sit down today and do a get ready with me, showing you my current everyday makeup routine. And you would have seen yesterday I got my hair done, just a little bit of a toner refresh to keep it looking nice, and I'm trying as hard as I can to preserve my blowout and style that I got. My hairdresser Hayley always does such a good job at styling my hair, so trying to make that last as much as I can. I've also got on today our yellow midi style necklace, which I made recently, and this color scheme will be available on my online store, which I'll link below. So I will be uploading a bunch of new designs, new necklaces to my store, so definitely check out all of the new Buy Bells necklaces that I'll be uploading. They will be on my shop, buybellwars.com, which I'll have linked below that you can check out. So usually I keep things pretty simple for my everyday makeup. To be honest, most of the time, especially during the week when I'm working from home, I will just use the Kosas concealer as my base, and I'll just kind of put a little bit in any spots that I want to color correct a little bit. But for today, because I do have a little bit of fake tan on, you can see my neck is slightly darker than my face. So in that case, I will usually go in and use the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Skin Perfecting Tint, which looks like this. And I really like this one. I've been using it for a number of years now, and I think it just provides the perfect little wash of color, a little bit of coverage, but it feels very, very light on the skin. Give that a little shake. And this is in the shade Cashew 3.5, but if I am my typical pale skin color with no fake tan, I will use the shade Opal 01. So those are the two kind of shades that I go between with the Bare Minerals product. I also just used my red light therapy mask that I got for Christmas. So if you can see a little red mark near my eyes or on my nose, that's what it's from, just having the red light mask on. So I just do a few little dots of that on the back of my hand, and then I'll go in with my beauty blender. This one is just the Mecca Max brand from Mecca here in Australia. I really like this one, and I am definitely a beauty blender girl. I really don't like brushes, much prefer a blender. The only time I will really use any of my kind of buffer brushes here is if this is dirty and I've forgotten to wash it, but usually that is not the case, and I'll always be using this one. So I just kind of go in and then tap this on my face. I usually start kind of my chin, nose area. So I just kind of blend that all in. It's really easy and quick with this big blender as well. Put a little bit on the side. Kind of do a little bit across my eyelids as well. But I do go in with concealer under my eyes usually. So you can see how light it is, but it just kind of gives me a little bit more color to match my fake tan that I've got on. Do this side as well. I don't really put much on my nose. I kind of just put any leftover that's on the sponge. And I am using my phone as my camera for this. As my mirror, I mean, so hopefully it turns out like it usually does. I just put my hair up because it's a little bit warm today. It's going to be 30 degrees. Hot Australian summer, and doing your makeup does not always pair that well. Okay, so now that that base is done, I will go in with just a little bit of concealer in some areas I want a little bit of extra coverage, and I'm using the shade 1N in the Kosas. I'll just do a little dot under my eye, get a little bit of redness around there. That's pretty much it. And then I'm just going to blend out that concealer into my eyes. I have quite purple eyelids, so I usually like to kind of drag it a little bit above them as well. A little bit over my cheeks and in the center of my forehead. So that is pretty much my base. You can see my face matches my neck a little bit more now. So that is my base cream products completed. Now I do go in with a powder and I'll set this down, and I use the RMS Hydra Setting Powder in the shade Light. I've really been liking this one. It is a loose powder, so it is slightly messier than a pressed one. I was using the Charlotte Tilbury pressed airbrush flawless filter powder or something along that lines. But I do really like the RMS brand. I like that it's non-toxic as well, and it has super clean ingredients, which is always nice. So I just take my big fluffy Kosas powder brush for this, and I'll just go in, tap that off a little bit, and just go in and set my face. Make sure I set well under my eyes because I can crease quite a lot if I do not do that. Okay, so that is my powder done. I'm not really a fan of having super dewy skin. I don't really like the feeling of my skin being like wet with product, so I do love a good powder. And I also use mostly powder bronzers. I will be using a cream blush today, but I do love a good powder blush as well. And speaking of that, I like to go in next with my Inika Organic bronzer, and this is in the shade Sunbeam. This is their baked mineral bronzer. Again, they are a clean beauty brand in Australia. If you're looking for a good clean bronzer, highly recommend this one. And I just kind of take that along the top of my forehead to give me a little bit of a glow and color there. Take it along my cheekbones. This is also the Kosas Contour Fan Brush, which is shaped like that, and it just is such a good size and shape for kind of bronzing and sort of contouring a little bit as well. And I usually just take that along my jawline as well. And then I go in with just a little smaller brush. I'm not even sure where this is from, it's that old, but it's just a little small kind of eyeshadow brush. And I do like to do a little bit of a nose contour. So I just like to go down like that. And then I'll do a little kind of half circle across there to kind of give a little button nose effect. And then I just sort of do a little bit on the underneath bit there to kind of give a little lift. So that is my bronzer done. And then what I'll usually do is just go in with my beauty blender and just blend that out a little bit so that there is no harsh lines and it all looks not too crazy. And then what I'll do is I'll go in with my Charlotte Tilbury blush wand, and I'll just usually kind of dot this on the back of my hand. And I like to go in with my ring finger, and I'll just kind of blend it in and warm it up a little bit on my hand. And then I like to just kind of like tap this quite high on my cheek here. And do the other side as well. And this just gives such a pretty glowy flush. I really like this for summer. It is quite pigmented, but I'm just going to add a tiny bit more because I do love a good pinky effect. I'll sort of like drag that across the bridge of my nose as well for that kind of sun-kissed effect. And then for eyebrows, I have been using the Glossier Glossier Boy Brow in the shade Blonde. I really like just a tinted brow product because I'm a little bit lazy with my eyebrows, and I just like that this is very quick and just gives me a little bit more color and a little bit more thickness to them without having to be super precise with like a pencil or powder or something, because I just couldn't be bothered with that, to be honest. So that is my eyebrows done. You can see it's just added a little bit of color to them because they are quite blonde. And next I will add a little wash of color over my eyelids, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette. But I usually just use a mix of these two colors here, usually more of the lighter pinky shade. And then if I am going out for the night or going out to dinner, I'll use some of these more shimmery and sparkly shades as well. And you can tell I love my Kosas brushes. This is the Kosas multitasking eye brush, which kind of has that like fanned effect to it as well. But I'll just kind of dip in both of those and just add that across my eye. I kind of just like blend it a little bit towards my brow at the edge. I'll do the same on this eye as well. Just so I kind of do that little flick at the edge, just so it kind of brings it up a little bit and does a little bit of a cat eye kind of effect. And then I do take it across the bottom of my lash line with really just whatever's left on the brush, and I'll tap a little bit into the lighter color sometimes as well. And again, I'll kind of just like drag that upwards at the edges. Then on an everyday basis, I definitely do not wear mascara because again, I just could not be bothered taking that off at the end of the day, and I don't really love the feeling of it on my eyes all day or night. I will usually wear it at night if I'm going out to dinner or something, but typically during the day I'll just go ahead and curl my eyelashes, and that's what they look like, all curled. So that is really all I do to my eyes. I keep it pretty simple most of the time, just with the little wash of color, curl my lashes, and that is pretty much it. I do like to go in with a little bit of a cream highlight. This is by RMS Beauty as well, and it's their Magic Luminizer. And this is really pretty. It's just such a skin-like finish. So I'll just add that on the tops of my cheekbones. I do like to go in on my brow bone with this as well, and it just adds a really nice kind of sheen. It's not too glittery or sparkly. It just kind of has a very kind of skin-like glow to it. And then I do like to go down the bridge of my nose as well, and on this that little bit there, I think it is really cute. I do like to go in on the corners of my eyes as well. I love putting highlight there because I think it just like wakes you up a lot, especially in the morning. So that's what that luminizer looks like. This is the step where my base feels complete. This is probably one of my favorite little products that I add on to my makeup. Okay, so for my lip liner, I use the Charlotte Tilbury in Pillow Talk, and usually what I do is I will overline them. So I start at the bottom, and I don't really overline the bottom, I just kind of go where that naturally is. I actually need to sharpen this as well. That is the bottom done. And then for the top, I pretty much don't really do anything to the side, but on the middle here, where my Cupid's bow is a little bit pointy, I kind of round that out, which also makes them look a little bit more full. So I kind of round out just here in the center. So you can see that makes them look a lot fuller when I do that little bit on my Cupid's bow. Okay, and then when I have the basic outline, I'll just go in and kind of tap that and blend it out so it doesn't look too crazy. This is a lot harder to do on camera than I expected. Going in with a lipstick. This is the MAC Cream de Nude lipstick, which is pretty much empty. You can tell this is my favorite nude color to use, but I'll just go in and kind of fill my lips in with this. And I think this is a really nice color for summer. I don't really use this in winter as much because when I am pale, it kind of looks a little too pale. In summer, with kind of a bronzy, glowy look like this, I really like it. And then sometimes I'll go in with a gloss. The two that I've really been loving lately have been the Tower 28 Lip Softy in Dolce Delice, which is kind of this nudie color. And then I also love the Bare Minerals Lip Gloss Balm in the shade Serenity, which is this really pretty kind of warm toned pink. I think today I'm feeling the Bare Minerals, so I'm going to go in with that and just do a little bit. So everyone, that is my makeup completed. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little talk through of my makeup routine, and don't forget that you can shop all of my latest midi style necklaces. We've got a bunch in these kind of color mixes. Don't forget you can shop with the link below. Thank you guys for watching this week's vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to give it a like if you did. Comment below for any videos that you want to see from me, and don't forget to hit subscribe so that you can always keep up to date with some new vlogs that are coming soon. So thank you again everyone, and I'll see you next week.